overthinking is actually causing dis-ease. What's going on, B-Risers? Hope you're doing fabulous. We've got some Atulfo mangoes here. Nothing beats fresh, ripe, juicy fruit. It's delicious and really cleans out the body, the physical body. But today, or tonight, whatever time it is, it's late here, we got the light. We are talking about the mental body. And I've been noticing on social media, out there, in life, there's just too much thinking going on. And what I've come to realize is overthinking is causing dis-ease. Too much thinking, too much in the mind is causing dis-ease. And when we look at dis-ease, it's really an imbalance. So we have our physical body, we have our emotional body, we have our mental body, and we have our spiritual body. And any one of these can become imbalanced. And when that happens, dis-ease will set in, whether that's our physical body. You guys know with the videos I'm rolling out with, it's a lot about eating healthy foods to get our physical bodies in a healthy state. We also need to, keep our emotions in check. It's also good to let our emotions out and always just be who you are in every moment, not be afraid to be who you are, express who you are. That is so important in letting your emotions out. Happy, sad, frustrated, there's a time and place for our emotions. And with the mental body, it's, we can use our mind to benefit us, right? We can use our mind to solve problems, break down problems, compare and contrast ideas. But when the mind starts to use us, then that's when it can be a problem and can even be destructive in some cases. So it's always important to keep in check, and if the thoughts are racing or coming in too much and there's just so much going on in the mind, it's time to just take a step back and get balanced again. And how do we do that? Well, the first thing that has helped me is to realize that you are not your mind. This is just really a tool that we use to help us. And it's important to realize that you are not your mind or your thoughts. Your mind, when your mind starts to use you, that's when it can become a problem. You want to just be able to use your mind. You want to be able to tap into your mind when you need it. And a lot of times I find out there is that if you're tuning into so much information and you're tuning into all these other minds chattering, then it can come into your subconscious mind and start replaying. And then you may get lost and you may, not be able to hear your own voice, and you may lose your own inner compass. So it's always important to come back to the present moment, to get out of the mind, to step out of the mind. And some people are like, well, how do you do that? How do you get out of the mind? How do you get out of all these thoughts and chatter? Well, it's important to get into a quiet place. And that's where meditation can really help with this. I like to go out in nature where it's quiet, and I like to just simply observe, and that's how you can get into the present moment. Just observe on your breathing, observe what's going on around you, and that will take you out of the mind. Now, of course, that mind will always want to chatter and come back, and also the ego comes in as well. And this is going to take some practice to learn to step out of the mind and then learn to step back in the mind. But you want to be able to you want to be the one in control of your mind and not the other way around. So we always want to use the mind to benefit us. And we can use it in so many ways to help benefit us. But when it becomes a problem is when it's not benefiting us. When we have too many thoughts that are negative, fear-based, just causing anxiety, and the emotions are tied so closely linked with the mind, because whatever we think of will give us an emotional response. So we need to understand that we are not our mind, and try not to associate yourself with the mind. You want to be able to free yourself from a lot of this negativity going on out there, a lot of just too much information. So I like to just go out and go into a quiet spot, meditation, focus on your breathing, and try to get into the present moment. Try to just simply observe being in the present moment, and try not thinking. Try to just pay attention on one thing in the present moment, and then go back to the mind if you want. I find that a lot of people out there are focusing too much on the past. They're going back to thoughts of the past, and that's understandable because we may be in the present moment, and something may happen that may trigger us back into the past. A certain memory or thought, even a smell can take us back to a certain memory. And that's fine, but when you're spending too much in the past, that's where it may not be benefiting you. Even too much in the future, thinking too much of the future, can also create a lot of fear and anxiety in people. So it's good to plan, and it's good to make arrangements for the future, but it's always great to come back into the present moment. And that's where you're going to find your strength and your power and get out of this fear and anxiety. And remember that whatever happened in the past is now done, and we can only just move forward. We can't change anything in the past, and we can't control the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So we may as well just live and be in the present moment now. And realize that you are the one in control here. You're the one in control of your physical body, what you put in your physical body. You're also in control of what you put in your mental body. What you tune into is so important, because we can get lost in other people's belief systems. And if we start to believe their belief systems, then that can actually trap us. And what I find is if people are using too much of the mind, too much thinking, too much of this, and not enough of this, then we start to lose truth. And truth is simple. We feel it. When we hear it, we know it. It's not something that we're told. It's something that we experience and we see for ourselves. Even with everything I say, it's always good to experience for yourself. And that's what this is all about. This whole life is just about experiencing and testing anything. Anything you want to do is, your experience, and it's for you to learn, essentially. And so with this mind, we have to not be so attached to it. And if we attach ourselves too much with the mind, then we think every thought we have is us, and it's not. So the first thing is realizing that you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts. And first ask yourself, is this thought even true? If you have too much thoughts coming in, ask yourself, is this thought even true? You don't even have to focus on the thought. And if you have too many thoughts coming in, what is important is to pay attention to what you're tuning into. If you're tuning into too much information, too many fear-based news, whatever you're tuning into on television or even on the radio or whatnot, even on YouTube, pay attention to what you're tuning into. And if it's too much information that's causing confusion and you're losing your way, or if it's just too much fear-based thoughts causing anxiety, then tune out of all of it and start changing your focus on something that's going to uplift you, something that's going to help you change your life for the better. And it's not about tuning into all this fear-based, because then you may start believing in it. And a lot of times we trap ourselves in our belief systems, even what we have been programmed with. So be careful of what you're tuning into and what you're believing, because that can actually keep you in a trap in, your mind. And then you have a hard time learning new information, expanding yourself. And essentially, where you're really going to expand is in awareness, is in the present moment, experiencing life for yourself. So if you're having too much fear and anxiety in your life, first, pay attention to what you're focusing on, who you're tuning into, and start tuning into people that are going to help you in your life, that are going to, not cause such fear and anxiety within you. Pay attention to your own environment. If there's too much going on, try to go for more walks in nature where you're going to find some peace. Try to incorporate some meditation. Deep breathing exercises is really going to help you. And, connecting more with nature. If you're finding that you're a little bit unbalanced even with your emotions, then go out in nature and try to, touch a tree, take your shoes off, connect with the earth, get some balance that way. Have some more root vegetables. That's going to really ground you. And try to be with more positive, uplifting people in your life. That's going to have huge effects on you. So it's really about feeling from the heart space and trying to get out of this mind by coming back to the present moment. Realizing that you are not your mind, and just use your mind. You can have fun with it. You can come back to the mind, come out of the mind. And when you do that, that's when you're going to find more peace, calmness in the present moment, not in too much chatter of the thoughts. There's a lot of minds out there chattering. There's a lot of people out there chattering, and there may be a lot of people out there chattering in your ears. And it doesn't mean that it's true. So first of all, always ask yourself, is this thought true? If it's not, then don't focus on that thought. Focus on what's going to help you. And when you do that, you're going to be much healthier. You're going to be in a much healthier mental state, and a little bit and more balanced too. When we associate too much with the mind and it becomes part of us, that's when we get into these imbalances. So realize that you are consciousness. You are, part of this divine energy. So as, dark as our thoughts can get, it's as positive as our thoughts can get. But you are still not your thoughts. You are not your mind. And only use your mind as a tool to help you. All right, guys, that's my take on this mental body and trying to get into the present moment. It takes practice, but it starts today. One exercise that I like is to jump in the mind, have some fun with my thoughts, have some fun with, problem solving, analyzing, comparing ideas. And then I like to jump out of the mind and come back into the present moment. And that's where I have my fun. It's all about having fun, you guys. That's the big key too, is if you're too much into the mind and the negative thoughts and the stress, go out, have some fun. Grab some friends with you and go out and have a great time. Go have some fun. Go play, do whatever makes you happy. That's the key to all of this. Do more of that and less focus on the too much information and too much propaganda. So, all right, guys, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for tuning into my video. I really do appreciate it. I hope it helps you out. That's why I'm doing these videos. A lot more healing videos to come. And as always, be your beautiful selves all the time. Don't be afraid to express your emotions as well. And, be who you are in the moment. And be getting into nature today and be in the present moment. That's where you'll find your strength and your power. See you guys in the next one.